second question, and that's during the stimulus debate, the Congressional Budget Office projected that the federal government is going to need to issue $2 trillion worth of Treasury bonds in the coming months. Now, the bond market in the past has not seen anything like that over such a short period of time. And I guess the estimate is during the next 2 years, you might have $4.5 trillion of U.S. debt that would be issued. Foreign buyers today absorb, I think, about $200 billion a year of the treasuries you know, that's a useful contribution if the deficit is $459 billion. But if it climbs up, you know, towards $2 trillion, my question to you is then the annual purchases would be about a tenth. And would domestic investors be able to bridge that gap? It looks unlikely from what I've read on this. So who would be there to buy up the debt? And I'd ask if you're concerned that those parties, you know, just won't be there in the future. This is part of my concern about the Japanese model in terms of trying to handle this through spending stimulus. I think they put about $1.3 trillion out there, and at the end of the day, they just accumulated more debt, but it cost them a decade of stagnant economic growth. Could I have your response on that, Mr. Chairman?
Well, Congressman, you're certainly right to be concerned about the debt and the deficits. In terms of the short term, the global market for U.S. debt seems to be accepting of this issuance. Rates are not high, and liquidity is good. Generally speaking, even though there's greater supply, there's also greater demand because the U.S. Treasuries are viewed as a safe investment in a world where there are not very many safe investments left. That being said, as I've emphasized, and as the President emphasized last night, we certainly cannot continue to borrow at this rate or to run deficits at this rate, and it's going to be essential as the economy recovers that we bring the deficit down and that we get ourselves back to a more fiscally balanced situation.
Well, even if you were able to inverse the savings patterns of Americans and get it up to, let's say, 8% instead of 0 a year, that'd probably only be about $800 billion right there of additional savings. So you'd have to go elsewhere, wouldn't you, for the borrowing that we're talking about?
Yes, but you have global financial markets on the order of $100 trillion, and there will be capacity in those markets to absorb debt in the short run, but only if investors believe that the U.S. is on a sustainable fiscal path, which obviously trillion-dollar deficits, as far as the eye can see, would not be sustainable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman from